This is the practice quiz for concept 3. And let's look at part A. Determine the first 5 terms of the sequence, then write its explicit equation. So we're given t of 1 equals 500. So I know that the first term is 500. I need 4 additional terms. The recursive definition here is telling us that to find the next term, I need to do 1/5 multiplied by the term before it. So 1/5 of the 500 is 100. And I'm going to keep doing that same rule repeatedly to get my next term. So the next term is 1/5 of the previous term, which is 20. 1/5 of 20 is 4. And 1/5 of 4 is 4/5. So now that I have my sequence, I'm going to write an explicit equation. T of n equals, I have a sequence that's divided by 5 each time. The initial value is the 0 term. So if I'm dividing by 5, multiplying by 5 will give me 2,500. And since I'm dividing by 5, that's the same as multiplying by 1/5, and then to the nth power. On part B, we're writing an equation for an arithmetic sequence such that the first term is 116 and the fourth term is 95. So one thing that's helpful is to just make a table. So I have an n and an a sub n. I know the first term is 116, and I know that the fourth term is 95. So to find the growth, or in this case this is decreasing, I need to figure out how far apart these numbers are. So if I subtract the 116 and the 95, this will give us 21. So these are 21 apart from each other. But I also know that these spots are the first and the fourth spots. These spots are 3 away from each other. So this and this are 3 away from each other. So 21, if I divide that by 3 spots, that means I'm losing 7 each time. So I'm going to make this a negative 21 since it decreased by 21, and I get a negative 7. So in order to write the equation for the sequence, I need to go backwards and figure out term 0. So when n equals 0, I would do 116 plus 7, which would be 123. So my equation will be T of n equals 123, and then I'm subtracting 7 each time, so minus 7n. Determine the value of a sub 18 in the sequence described in part B. So to find the 18th term, I can use my equation and just plug in when n equals 18. So we're going to do 123 minus 7 times 18. So it would be negative 3. On part D, Mrs. Flubberdoodle weighs 256 pounds. Her new diet enables her to lose 18 pounds per month. Write an equation that represents her weight. So T of n equals, starting at 256 pounds and losing 18 pounds per week. How long will it take for her to weigh half of her current weight? Well, half of her current weight is 128 pounds, since she currently weighs 256, and I'm trying to figure out what n is, or how many months it's going to take for her to become half her weight. So I'm going to subtract 256 from both sides. It'll be negative 128 equals negative 18n, and then dividing both sides by 18 this is 7.1 months. And we can approximate this answer, so I'm going to say approximately 7 to 8 months. Okay, part E, we're writing an explicit equation and a recursive definition for the following sequence. So we're starting with 5, and this is decreasing by 4 each time. So T of n equals, this is term 1, term 0 would be 5 plus 4, which is 9, and then minus 4n. The recursive definition, we need to include the first term. We also need to include how to find the next term. So to find the next term, T of n plus 1 equals, take the previous term and subtract 4 each time. Another way to write it would be to find the next term, T of n, take the previous term, T of n minus 1, and then subtract 4. These both are saying the same thing with slightly different notation.